So for anyone that didn't see your introduction, can you let people know briefly what the Wild Biome Project is?
So the Wild Biome Project is where people, about 100 of us this year, foragers, are surviving on a wild diet, plants and fungi that we forage. We have been, well, some of us have been hunting, but most of us have been buying from hunters game and buying fish and things like that. So we are not getting everything ourselves, but the food that we are having is as wild as we can get in the modern age. And we're going to be surviving on that for 1 to 3 months. I'm doing it for a month myself. We're just taking a bunch of tests to see how that affects our blood, certain blood markers like cholesterol, various vitamins, also our biome. So we're doing some gut tests to find out what's active in our guts on sort of the wild biome, and comparing it to the beginning where we'd only been eating sort of a traditional diet.
How long have you been doing it so far? It's like a week or 8 days?
10, I think, 9, 10.
Don't know what the date is.
I believe it's day 10.
Okay. How's the first 10 days gone then?
Yeah, good. Very good in some ways and a bit weird in others. So I actually fasted the day before because I've been binging to basically to reset my body and to get me into what's called ketosis quicker, and that's where our bodies are using fat instead of carbs, and that's because our diets have been consisting mostly of sort of protein and fat with sort of incidental carbs, but no heavy carbs that you get from things like grains, and or eating lots of fruit. So most of us have got into ketosis now, and the effect on your body and brain is very noticeable.
In what way?
So I feel stronger and a little bit more focused. I'm a bit spicy anyway, so
Neuro spicy, darling.
neuro spicy. Yeah. That's meant that I've had a little bit more focus, but weirdly, been talking to a bunch of people today, and there's a lot of emotional stuff coming up for a lot of us.
Huh.
And
So like a purging then?
Yeah, I guess harder to hide from your emotions when you haven't got sugar
To dull them.
to dull it. And you know, I guess that ties into this concept that we're kind of being dulled by the food that we eat and the media that we consume and stuff.
What's been your favourite food to cook?
The cookies. No, I can't say.
You can say the cookies if they're your favourite.
It's not my favourite. To be honest, those cookies are really nice. They're made with tallow, so animal fat. There's only a very small bit of sugar in there from the honey, but the sweet chestnut flour is really, really sweet in itself, and the taste. Yeah, I really like the taste.
They're pretty good because you couldn't even tell. Well, I couldn't tell that it was tallow, and I'm normally quite sensitive to meat tastes.
Definitely, and interestingly, when you eat sugars with fats, it balances out your glucose. Yeah, how your glucose is affected. So when I was eating those, my glucose wasn't spiking as much as when I just had some sort of sweet chestnut porridge made from the same flour. And when I ate that, my glucose spiked to sort of 9, whereas my glucose has been around 4 or 5. And I think the biscuits were spiking it to 6, or raising it to 6. It wasn't a spike. So it's really interesting that the sort of taught fat is really bad, but there's lots of really good reasons for eating fat, even in terms of eating sugar, having some fat when you're eating sugar as well.
Yeah.
so that was, the cookies were nice, but actually I've been really just enjoying kind of all the broths. I've been eating a lot of meat. I'm not normally a heavy meat eater, so it's interesting to be eating a lot of meat. And then I think the standout thing was the roadkill moorhen, especially because people. Well, one of my friends was saying he was told they don't taste nice, and just that process actually of sort of, obviously didn't hunt it, but I foraged it. I found a bit of roadkill, gutted it, skinned it, checked out the organs for any signs of things like bird flu. It was a really healthy bird. It's obviously been smacked in the head, broke its neck, and yeah, just that relationship between you and what you're eating. It's one of the reasons I love having an allotment and growing my own food, is you have a relationship with that food, and again foraging, and then so to have that respect for the animal, and like not that it would go to waste if it rotted away, because other animals would benefit from it, but just being part of its circle of life and death was really and it did taste good. I felt it tasted good.
Has been your either like worst cook or worst tasting thing?
So the worst cook was, I tried to make older catkin flour to make some crackers, and not only did it not set very well, cook very well, and was really crumbly, but the taste, because they've used mostly or solely older catkin flour, the bitter tanniny taste, it's kind of accentuated by the spice mix that I've got, that's a little bit bitter as well. I should have probably used the mushroom sort of spice or flavouring mix that I've got, and yeah, it didn't taste very nice. It's really, really strong, but I've broken it up and put it into things like some of the fish cakes, and I'm going to be doing like a crumble, sort of a venison stew crumble thing, which I think will allow for it to not be wasted, because I don't want to waste any of it, and that bitterness will be like paired with like a creamy, strong creamy meat flavour, so hopefully that'll work, and I won't just ruin the meal.